Welcome everyone back to another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son George. I was my mother's caregiver after she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Sadly, she passed on 1/1/2020, but we started TogetherForSharon.com in her memory and to advocate today for a cure for all those still battling Parkinson's disease and their families because no one is ever alone in this fight. Today's guest is somebody who means a lot to me, very special, somebody who's opened his arms to me when I really kind of felt alone. So I just want to welcome Michael to the show. Again, he's an inspiration to me every day, and we work really closely together. And it's only because he, again, opens his arms to so many people throughout the Parkinson's community and the world. And it's such an honor to have you here today, Michael.
Thank you, George. My voice can tailor off just so everybody understands that. If my voice sounds unclear, let me know and I'll slow down.
Everything you do, I love, so it won't bother me. I'm sure everyone listening to you understands, and that's actually why I was excited to have you on. We have a lot to talk about, especially the YLP and newspaper that I'm amazed that you're really orchestrating, but also maybe we could touch a little bit about how voices can be affected. I think a lot of times people don't even think of that, or a lot of the other behind the scenes things that individuals who are diagnosed face. You know, they always think of Michael J. Fox, who we love, but it's not just external tremors. It really does affect so much more. My mother had a big problem with her stomach, the gut, and constipation, things that I never dreamt I'd be talking to the world about. I think it's important to talk about these things so others who are going through it don't feel alone.
Agreed very much.
What is it like? I know we tried to schedule a few times, but due to your voice, you weren't able to. And I'm so happy to hear you were doing well and that we could at least do a little bit together today. And we could always have 20 parts because I always love spending time with you. So it's okay. But, what can you tell us a little bit about what it's like with the struggle with the voice or
Sure, it sucks. Let's start off with that.
that
It
sums it
sucks.
up. That's
Hey,
perfect.
some of right there. I
I
had,
do want,
I had dystonia and dyskinesia like Melody Fox. So dystonia hit my throat a few years ago. And not many people with Parkinson's get throat dystonia. I'm like the only one not in that definition that has both Parkinson's and throat dystonia. It's an unknown. It's not very popular. People don't realize it exists. But I got lucky and got it, I guess. It's people look at. I mean, you can't go through. They can think about trying to go through a drive-through, and they can't understand what you're saying. So drive-through in my going through drive-through drugstore and anything like that. It's just not in my game anymore. So people can tend to look at you like you're not because you can't speak that well. People look at you like you're not intelligent, and they sometimes treat you that way. And people overtalk you a lot because you struggle through the word. It's difficult to deal with.
Well, that's why I love that you are a hero to so many in the community because just like Mr. Michael J. Fox, you're open and you're in the public and you're still advocating. I think you do this more than I do, which I don't know how everyone
I
always
don't
says
know about that.
I do. But I do want to start also by saying that you actually interviewed me first, a year ago. It's amazing how quickly time flies. And I wanted to kind of shift a little or share some things and thank you. This is where you can relax, sit back. You might know this beautiful young man. And if everyone has time, please go to TogetherForSharon.com. If you click on interviews, you can see a lot more in depth with Michael. We spoke about July 2023, which is, it's fascinating how quickly it goes, but you'll see a lot more about his background, his advocacy. He's done so much incredible things with Boston Marathon, running to also what, again, I'm impressed today. And I've been really lucky, in my opinion, to be part of this special group who a lot of the individuals like Melissa and Esther are my family too. But the Young Onset Parkinson's Network, one of the biggest organizations out there. But the most important thing, and please tell me if you think I'm wrong or if you have to add, is that a lot of people still aren't aware that it affects so many young people. That's been a big issue. I've been trying to kind of bring to light that it's not, the elderly man disease anymore. And there's so many great people out there battling like yourself, still young. I feel like I'm 70 or 90 years old, so you're old as you feel, but I want people to know that no one has the same journey, but we all have the same goal, and that's to cure this disease. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about your experience with the Young Onset Parkinson's Network and Anna and all the amazing individuals on the board.
Sure. Anna, I interviewed her maybe 2 years, 3 years ago, I think it was. And after I interviewed her, I learned about the Wellbeing Network. She was just starting it back then. And when I interviewed her, it blew up. We had over 2,000 hits on that podcast. She was quite popular. So I get to know her from there. And actually, that's when I decided to do a podcast with her at the Wellbeing Network. It was going quite well, but once again, my voice got in the way. So I decided to call it quits. We have a new cast in now, Melissa, Esther, and Chris is there too.
Yeah, they're great. We have a show together too, but it's really important to bring everyone together. And I love a lot of the other things that the YOPN does, like support groups. I try to attend a lot of them, but I don't have Parkinson's, as everyone knows. I lost my mother due to Parkinson's, so sometimes I don't want to say much because it's a different kind of crowd that it's important. But when you all invite me, it's so touched and means the world, because sometimes I still feel alone as someone who lost a loved one due to Parkinson's, and they don't really seem to have much support out there. And that's one thing I'm also writing a book about, is people who lost loved one due to Parkinson's, because I think there's like 30 million people or more. If we brought them all back, and joined these organizations, it would make such a loud, positive statement that it really be incredible. The other thing that I want to thank you for, because you're orchestrating it, is the new unfiltered or newspaper digital, and it's changed a little, but it's still beautiful. And we actually added it to Together for Sharon. So everyone, if you go to togetherforsharon.com again, we don't accept anything but that you're never alone. You just click media, and then I think you scroll down and hit digital newspaper, and there you go. You go right to the actual newspaper. If you would like to tell us a little bit about, how is it, one of the big questions I had too for you, I wrote, is staying active, because you're very active. What does that mean to be active, while you're battling Parkinson's?
Simply don't sit there and don't sit there and let the disease take over. I've seen it happen to many, many people. They don't seek help. They stay at home. They don't talk to their spouse. It's a difficult disease to deal with, and basically need to keep moving. You need to keep moving.
And I want to thank you because, again, you're editor in chief, but you do even more than that. If it wasn't for you, in my opinion, I'm biased, and this wouldn't have happened. So it's really a beautiful thing. It's getting out there. I share it every single time I can, but everybody can take a little look how beautiful. We've changed the format a little, but it's still the same individuals. And you can see Esther here and some incredible people. That shows that everyone is together. Here's your address if anyone has ideas for articles. I know sometimes Michael's always kind of giving me ideas. There's so many things to talk about, but there's so many also more important issues. And you can see here is one article I had, but just including people like me means so much. So I want to thank you live here. Also, Melissa is right here. If everybody takes a look, definitely have an all-star cast with Carl also. And if you click here now, everyone, you can see everyone's individual articles too. You can see Frank, he's a great guy too. And then it's monthly, so you'll get it to the email. It's free, but I do recommend to go to the YOPN website, and you can get updates. You can subscribe. I would do it actually live, but I already subscribed. But it's very simple. Again, please go to yopnetwork.org, and you'll see so much more. And then again, this is and then I wanted to kind of just show, this is you're a warrior, I believe it. But can you talk a little bit about some of your experience with the gym, and how it really can change somebody, an individual with Parkinson's, to slow the progression? That's an area I've been kind of concentrating on a lot. Maybe we can talk after, but we're writing a book now with about several authors who have Parkinson's advocates, and it's going to be about sports and Parkinson's.
Sure. I can talk about myself. I was about 10 years ago, I started boxing for the first time. I was struggling with non-motor symptoms, a lot of anxiety, depression, causing issues at home, causing issues with work, causing issues with family and friends. So I needed to do something. So I found online a video by Rocksteady Boxing. That video touched my heart and soul. And I went out there and I decided to join a gym, boxing gym. I found a gym that did not house any Rocksteady Boxing. So I met with the owner and we decided to start our own Rocksteady Boxing in New England.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I did that when I was younger, but I think it's so important to find an outlet to stay active, to keep fighting literally. So you're not just fighting by all the work and advocacy you're doing, you're actually also physically fighting the disease. And I think that not only is it better man, you're going to beat this, but we're going to keep fighting along your side. And of course, I send our love to your family and everyone listening. No one is alone. So I really appreciate you sharing a lot of these important areas. Now I want to shift a little to you, and can you list 3 words that describe who you are?
Resilient, headstrong, stupid sometimes.
We all can say that. Next question I have was, and this might be a tough one, but is there one moment or one most memorable moment that stands out through most of your work with awareness that you could share?
Sure. A friend of mine had passed away. I hadn't seen him from Parkinson's. I hadn't seen him for a few years. And when I went to the funeral, I met his son. His son came up to me and said, I know you from the newspaper articles, had a few articles written on me. And when he said that, he goes, you helped my father live longer. Never forget that. He said, I helped son live longer by starting a rock steady in Pawtucket, Rhode Island with a friend.
I'm sorry to hear about the loss, but we won't ever forget them. And today we'll dedicate the show in their memory. So thank you for sharing that. It's very important that we don't let them be forgotten. Here's another area I really am always happy to bring up because obviously I say you're the face of the YOPN network, newspaper, and so much more. But who helps you during times of struggle? I always like to bring out the people, not literally bring them out, but thank them too for all the support they have for you. And we send our love to them too.
It'd be my wife, Donna. She's amazing. She's strong. She takes me to CrossFit every night. She gets in my case when I need my ass kicked. She kicks it gleefully.
Tell Donna we love her and we send her support too. She means a lot to us all. And I was a caregiver, as you know. What tips can you give those listening who might be caregivers?
You need breaks too. Definitely need breaks too, because there's a lot on the caregiver that people don't realize. The person with Parkinson's gets stuck in there. They get stuck in their own heads. What's going on with them, and they sometimes forget how good of a person, how good, what's what I'm thinking of, how good of a care partner they really have, and how they should really cherish that.
Thank you.
No, no.
What do you hope for the future for in terms of awareness? And how do you think we could, I mean, we do a lot together, but how do you think we can promote Parkinson's awareness even more globally?
Personally, there's so many people around Haiti. I saw 4 people this weekend. 2 of them were care partners, and their husband just stays home. They've had the disease for 9 years.
Oh,
They didn't do anything. And I met a couple of guys at the gym too. They have Parkinson's. They never go to support groups. They never get out there. They never get online. So I think we need to go more boots on the ground, and hit our own local communities more. Some people left by the wayside. It's unbelievable. You wouldn't believe it. I met 4 people this weekend. I can't get over it. None of them are doing anything except letting the disease take over.
you think they weren't aware? Like I know, sadly, if I look back with my mother, as a caregiver, I just didn't even have a minute to breathe because we were trying to help her. So I didn't really know anyone who had Parkinson's, and my mother never met somebody for 15 years also who had Parkinson's. So it's just interesting now to look back, because I wish I had a cell phone and even this technology then. I would have put you on the phone with my mother, and I bet you would have had a lot of fun and joked, and she would have loved that because she really did feel alone. And that's why we do this today, because we don't want anyone to feel alone. Even if we reach one person, I say every show, and make someone smile for a minute, even if it's at our own expense, we both like that. But even if we can get one person to kind of know they're not alone, I think we've changed the world for the better. And that's why I ask everyone not just to support Michael, but also definitely support him, but also share this show, because this conversation cannot end after today. We have to keep fighting, we have to keep talking, and we have to keep reaching out to the community and help them as well, as because I'm still grieving, unfortunately. And speaking to you today, Michael, or many nights we're talking online, that's what helps me get through it. So thanks again. Next area is, I was wondering who your hero and inspiration is.
Good question.
Thanks.
I would have to say Jimmy Joy, like everybody else. I mean, I met Jimmy, I interviewed Jimmy 5, 6 years ago when I first started the podcast. And he's very forthcoming, he's very open, does everything he needs to do. He's an amazing person, and he's a great guy too.
And what drives you and motivates you? You mentioned, unfortunately, a few people you met recently might not have that drive. They might have kind of given up, and we want them to know that they shouldn't, and that there is support out there if you just look and look at the resources. Even go to TogetherForSharon.com. It's completely free. We don't want any money at all. We donate everything back to the Parkinson's community. And but I'm curious, what kind of drives you to keep fighting?
Trying to keep fighting. I hate this disease. Hate it. Everybody talks about gratitude. I'm not grateful. I'm not grateful for this disease at all. Okay, it robs your health, robs your voice. Right. I've known people because of the drugs. They've financially ruined themselves. People have ruined their marriages because of the drugs. Uh, I don't, mind you, I hate pockets, but I am grateful. I am grateful for a bunch of things. My wife, my family, my daughter, my grandson, you, George, a lot of great friends I have out there. That's what I'm grateful for. But I'm not grateful for this disease.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I always don't like saying I hate things, but obviously we're coming to the holidays, which is the toughest time for our family because my mother is no longer with us. And, I have, when she passed, because we didn't know they told us 15 doctors said, you don't pass due to Parkinson's, you die with it, but she had no other medical issues at all. But I bought that giant F Parkinson shirt, and I wish I had thought about it. I would have wore it for our show next time. Because I never wear it because I don't want to offend. You never know who you offend. But as you know, we're here to be honest, tell the truth, and we both do agree on hating the disease. So, but we'll do everything we can still to smile a little bit. And
He
then,
said he said something important there when he said she didn't die from the disease, but she died because of Parkinson's complications. I don't I don't like that. I don't think it brings the urgency that the disease really needs. She died because of Parkinson's. That's why she died. Not because of the complication of it, but she died of Parkinson's disease. I think if this disease is known as a killer, he make it the more they have support we really need.
I appreciate you speaking up and out about that. Sometimes I'm kind of worried, if I should say it, because obviously a lot of the organizations, foundations are concentrating on individuals diagnosed today and their families, but I do think there's a place missing for people like me. That's why I'm lucky we did start our own kind of movement. But the most beautiful part is individuals like you, Anna, have taken me in under your wing, and that means so much because maybe I always say like 1% that don't, but the 99.9 who do. I think our voices are so much stronger together. And like you mentioned, there's a lot of darkness, unfortunately, with Parkinson, but I always kind of remember the light, and that's the positive things such as our friendship and so many others today that I literally speak to 24/7. Some nights I don't, like last night I didn't sleep, and just thinking of ways to get to more people so that everybody's aware. I went on about 100 shows of other people. Not like I love your show the most, no offense to the other, because you know what we're talking about. But I've kind of, when the national plan was going on since then, I've tried to go on shows who have nothing to do with Parkinson, because I really wanted to make people who don't have it and their families aware. Because I think if we could get everyone involved, not just people with it, not just people affected, families affected by it, we really need the whole world as a part of this movement in order to end it. So we're going to have to keep doing that, until we are closer. And I know don't have a lot of time, so just a few quick final questions. And I
Give
do,
me one point. I'll make 1 point.
please.
Thank you. I already lost it.
It's all right. You're the main guest that I hope we can also have a part two, because I usually don't. Or part two, three, four, five, every.
Sure.
We have a lot more to talk about the newspaper, which we didn't. I mean, I'd love to just have a session. We could have a whole show about topics, because there's so many topics. I do a lot of these shows, and as I'm talking, I thought of, a whole show we could probably do together someday. But from the minute someone diagnosed, I want to draw a map, or almost like tell a story about how that person leaves the office of the doctor and the caregiver and what they're going through and what they're feeling. Because I've heard some, sadder stories where you'll just get, and I know I was involved, but you get a brochure and they'll say, see you 6 months later. And it's nothing against the doctors to have, things to do, but there's got to be more for people, the day and the moment they find out they're not like just thrown away and things. But anyway, that's the future. Did that help to get back what you were thinking?
No, it gave some other thoughts. So when I was first diagnosed, I was with a neurologist in Fall River, Massachusetts. This gentleman, he ran me through a series of tests, the Pacquiao people, where you put your right finger up, the other finger, all the top of your foot.
I probably can't do half this.
Trying to do that, you had to be tying and tying my shoes. And then he walk up and down the hall. I was walking up as I finished the whole thing. He looks at me and goes, "You have Parkinson's." I was floored when he said that. Then I asked him, I said, what's gonna be like in 10 years? He said, imagine where you are now and multiply it by 10. Horrible advice. I'm 18 years into this disease now. It's a long time to have it. I'm doing all right now, because I went to see another doctor in Boston, and he was great. He's been great since I've met him. He gets back to my emails whenever I say email him with a question. He gets right back to me. He runs the whole department now, and he's a good man. I'm grateful for him.
Yeah, it's important to have the right person. I mean, we went to, I'd say 15 doctors. We just couldn't find a reason why it progressed so quickly. The last 4 years was the toughest. My mother went from walking 3 miles to cane for 2 years, a walker for a year, wheelchair, and then bedbound. And we have no clue why it progressed so quickly. And she was only 69. So even looking back, obviously we couldn't do anymore, but I don't understand. But she had a little gym. She did exercise, and just the disease. I don't know if it was, she went to a special school. I won't say where, because I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at the disease. But she went for a trial. And when she came home that night is when I had to take over her whole life, because I don't know if they drastically changed her medication too much, but something that night happened and triggered a whole episode in the hospital. And from that point on, hallucinations and delusions became in my life, and just a roller coaster, which is why we wrote the book, because it's so much to talk about, but it's also hard to still talk about it even today. So, everyone out there get the book.
I'm so sorry I had to go through that, George.
I just never want to see you or anyone else. That's why I do this. Like, I don't want anything in return at all except a cure. And number one, that no one feels alone like we did, and that no one has to go through this. So until that two things happen, we keep fighting. And then the final few questions, this one you'll love. Hopefully I'll get you to laugh. But if you were asked to write a script to a movie about your life story, what would you call it?
Scatterbrained.
Nice. It's original. I like it. And then I want to give you a moment if you had any other areas you want to touch on, but if you could leave the Parkinson's community today with some words of encouragement, what would they be? And then if you want to tell everyone how they can reach you or anything I might have missed.
Words of advice for anybody? Just get up and you gotta fight the disease every day. Don't give into it, because if you give into it, it'll take over your life. I've seen it roll. I've seen some of you who died because of Parkinson's. I've seen them, I felt them, I knew them well, and it hurt every single time. So keep fighting and don't ever let your guard down. Keep fighting, don't let your guard down.
Thanks. And thanks for being a guest, but also more importantly for your friendship. Many people don't know how close we are, but now they'll know it's all out of this, the secret's out. I love this guy and anything he ever needs, he knows he can count on me. No matter what time, day, we speak 24/7, but please go to yopnnetwork.org and support the Young Onset Parkinson's Network. You'll be doing a great favor to Michael and myself if you also go to the website and then click on the YOPD Times. It's beautiful, beautiful thing that's really now part of history. I was surprised that I was invited, but even more excited because I don't see anything like it. You know, I'm a person who doesn't believe in recreating the wheel, but when you see something missing in our society, like I can't believe that there isn't one book, and I always challenge everyone listening to prove me wrong. There isn't one book in the world, like literally from a son who lost their mother due to Parkinson's. So that's why I did the book. I didn't really want to do it, but that's why we did it. But when I heard about what you were doing in the incredible newspaper, I was shocked to realize that this is, newspapers are still out. I love them. I might be old school, but I miss even smelling it and feeling the newspapers and magazines. I think they're still important in society, even though the younger generation might have gone to TikTok like we all have too. But I think it's really important. Also bringing so many different views and people all together for one common cause, which is awareness. Really beautiful. And I hope you still keep doing the Rock City boxing because we're going to have Mr. Cotton, I believe, on soon. Ryan Cotton, who started, I believe, the founder. But I think that exercise and the whole
No,
the world of sports. We have a show too. We'll have to have you on sports and slowing the progression of Parkinson's. And I have a big announcement too. I might as well say it here, but Mr. Bernie Kosar, the professional legend football player, will be coming on the show. I never told anyone yet, but figured since you're family, I may as well make that announcement and have some incredible guests. Just yesterday, I was amazed that he came on, but the human power potential, the gentleman who swam or rowed around from Hawaii to around the country, really raised over $41 million. I try to raise money, I get like $50. I can't even get $1. And it's not for me, it goes right to Michael J. Fox and the American Parkinson's Disease Association and Power for Parkinson's and Drive to so many great organizations, YOPN Network. But anything matters. Please, again, support the YOP and donate a penny, a dollar, anything. I mean, if everyone in the world donated, a penny, imagine how big of a difference and strong that is. But even if you can't, just share, join. And again, thank you all for listening. And Michael, I want to send a little message to you. Please, you go first.
I want to clear something up. Scott Newman is the original founder of Rocksteady Boxing.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, they're all incredible. I think he just runs it today, but I'll get to know more hopefully very soon. And I mean, we have to send him a hug and a virtual thank you too, because that's something that's really progressed around the world to help people with Parkinson's and many other diseases. I think it also helps caregivers if they do it with you, because that's a lot of fun to do things together. But I have
Imagine, I'm sorry, just imagine how many people that Scott Newman has helped. Helped me. I started a program myself that flew up over 200 people, over 100 people. Some of those people outside of their own gyms, they have 50, 70 people in the gym. He's helped literally hundreds of thousands of people if you break it down from just starting this gym.
It's amazing. There are a lot of people, selfless people who want to just make the world better for those who are struggling. And that's what we do this for. We don't do it for anything else. I mean, we're here on a Friday afternoon, but knowing us, we would meet on a Friday night, a Saturday, Sunday, every night, just to talk about these important issues. And we only touched a little bit on some of them, but I do have a little message for you and everyone listening. We love you, we support you, we care a lot about you, and you're never alone. I, along with Michael, will advocate for you, and together I feel our voices are so much stronger. And I always kind of joke away and say I'm just getting started, because even though I've been doing it for a little while, when I met you, Michael, and a year ago, and read your journey, and we spoke, and now became family and friends. You inspire me. You're also a hero of mine. I know there's tough days for you, but you still fight. As you know, I have a lot of medical issues, not Parkinson's. We don't know how why people are diagnosed. I think it's environment for my mother. I could still get it, but I know I'm confident that I have a community here if I ever was diagnosed, or even if I'm not, that will support me and be right by my side. And that's what I swear 24/7, as you know, that I'll still keep doing till there's a cure at all our doorsteps. So just want to thank you for coming on. I was really excited because I know we've tried a few times. I think you're beautiful. You sound even better than me. I don't have the best voice for the. I never dreamt I'd have a show, and I always joke. My only regret with my mother in my whole life is not anything about the disease. I just really wish we had this technology then, because my failure in a way in my head. I wish I had a show of my mother, but not about Parkinson, but before, because I would have loved to have like documented my life and her life and all this stuff. And she lives on now through you and everyone I meet, but I miss those moments and some of the stories that growing up, and she would used to make me blush and I turn red in front of my wife, but now I miss that and I wish I had that all documented. So everyone listening, please, hug your loved ones, videotape each other, forget the nonsense fights that you might have that, we used to fight.
Mm.
We would all get together Sunday. We had a big family. We have a smaller one now, but we all get together and we'd fight, literally hardcore fights about what we're going to order, like what food, because everybody wanted something else. My mother would always win because she's the best, but I miss that because now Sunday comes, we don't even really order and it's not the same. So, but again, being able to text you late at night or email you and get a quick response helps me a lot more than you'll ever know. So I'm grateful forever for that and for our friendship. And again, I hope that this is only the second time we've had shows together. It was on yours and I share yours too all the time, but I hope there's many more to come and so much more with the newspaper. I love it. And thanks for doing that, because if it wasn't for you and the amazing board there, I don't think it would have been possible. So keep that up and know that we're all right behind you, sharing it, and just appreciative of all you do and even more your time today. So thank you again.
I appreciate you, George. Love you too.
Thanks. Well, thank you, everyone listening. Thank you, Michael, and to your wife and the whole family. We send our love and support. Please share this again. The more we share, the more we're going to get awareness out there. It's really that easy. Like literally clicking one button. I do it if everyone watches. If you join the group Together for Sharon on Facebook, my big thing now is just bombarding my own page with sharing everyone else's stuff. One more exciting thing, tomorrow I'll be going virtual. We call it On the Virtual Road with Sharon's son George, and I play the Willie Nelson on the road again. So I'll be zooming into a Team Fox event for another group who I've become very close with, and it's Bike Box. They're amazing. They do some great things. So we'll be there tomorrow morning live, and so many more things coming. I don't do this for anything except that I don't want anyone to feel alone. I'm still grieving. And I really feel together our voices are so much stronger. So please stay tuned, everyone. This has been another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son George. Thank you, Michael. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks, George.